Welcome back to our Stop Animal Cruelty series on Animal World, Our Co-Inhabitants. We have been looking inside the racing world's inhumane treatment of the noble horse. Typically, racehorses are injected full of drugs and steroids which make their bodies function unnaturally. One particularly inhumane method of trying to ensure horses win races is called milk shaking, by which a combination of baking soda, electrolytes and sugar is forced through a tube inserted through the nose into the animal's stomach. This is done to prevent lactic acid buildup and therefore decrease fatigue so that a horse can run farther and more quickly. However, many deaths have occurred due to milk shaking, as the tube and liquid are sometimes pushed into the lungs, thus causing the horse to suffocate and drown. In some cases, a device is placed under the horse's skin to deliver an electric shock when it starts to lag behind. But the most vicious and overt method employed to make the steed run faster is the use of a whip by a jockey to hit a horse, which may be whipped up to 30 times in a single race, causing both physical and psychological pain. Horse communicator and equestrian advisor to the Queen of England, Mr. Monty Roberts, states, "It is a fact that whips have been involved in 86% of racing accidents." Other common ailments of racehorses include bleeding of the lungs caused by excessive vigorous exercise. When a horse runs, thousands of kilos of force are directed through its legs, rattling the chest walls and causing bleeding of the lung tissue as well as ankle and limb injuries. More than 90% of all racehorses have blood in their lungs, and 2% of all horses bleed from the nostrils after completing a race. This is often covered up with the use of more drugs, such as laxatives. Different drugs are pumped into these horses just to keep them running, with no regard given for their health, which quickly deteriorates as the drugs only mask symptoms instead of healing their ailments. Nearly all racehorses suffer from agonizing stomach ulcers caused by stress and poor diet. In the wild, horses spend 70% of their time grazing, and so their stomachs constantly produce digestive acid. But race horses only eat at specified times, leading to excess acid and excruciating stomach ulcers. Additionally, their high-protein, low-fiber diet makes the condition much worse.
Make sure that people know that if they take their horses to auction, there's a good chance that the meat man will actually be there to buy that horse. Many people are under the impression that they'll go to a good home when they go to auction, and this is not just the case in the vast majority of times.
All racehorses, whether successful or injured on the tracks, eventually outlive their usefulness and profitability to humans and are sold at auctions to either knackeries or slaughterhouses. The knackeries kill the horses to turn them into dog food. However, the horses killed at slaughterhouses are carved up for human consumption. First, the animals are crammed into trucks normally used for cattle that have low roofs, and so the horses have to duck their heads, producing an unstable position and causing them to fall and sustain painful, debilitating injuries. Often these poor creatures are transported long distances through all kinds of climatic conditions, usually with no water, food or veterinary care, as buyers do not want to spend money on them. They are subsequently dragged or whipped to get them off the trucks. Depending on the country and the standards of the facility, a variety of gruesome, cruel slaughter methods are used. In some places, a rifle is used to shoot the horse in the face, just as if it were an execution. This may be done in full view of the other horses. In Mexico, horses are stabbed several times in the back of the neck with a puntilla knife to sever the spinal cord and paralyze the helpless beings. The horses are still fully conscious as they are hauled up by their hind legs and have their necks slit open. Other slaughterhouses use a pneumatic gun to fire a bolt into the horses' heads to stun them before they are hung upside down and bled out. Often the stunning is insufficient, and the animals regain consciousness before having their legs cut off. Horses are also used to make drugs such as Premarin, a hormone replacement pharmaceutical used by women during menopause. This chemical is obtained from the urine of pregnant horses that are forced to stand constantly for 6 to 7 months in horrible conditions, while their urine is collected via a tube inserted into their urethus.
The PMU industry, pregnant mare urine industry, is an industry where they keep mares confined in small stalls for the duration of their pregnancy, and then they collect that urine that's hormone rich, and that helps to, when they extract the estrogen from there, that helps to alleviate symptoms of menopause, and they make a pill that women can take. But there are a large number of concerns. You have pregnant mares confined in small stalls. You have foals that are born out of the industry. What happens to these foals? And in the past, in its heyday, the pregnant mare urine industry had about 75,000 horses across Canada and some in the United States on the line collecting the urine. And so there would be consequently 75,000 foals looking for homes. And it's just a very, very sad situation that many of these horses and foals went to auctions and then consequently for meat to the slaughter industry.
The only way to stop such cruelty found in horse racing is not to support the industry. Furthermore, we can save lives by refraining from the consumption of all products containing horse or other animal meat. Horses are truly divine and noble beings who deserve our gentle care and respect. Thank you for your presence today for Animal World, our co-inhabitants on Supreme Master Television. Coming up next is enlightening entertainment right after noteworthy news. Let us herald a new year in peaceful coexistence with all beings.